Are the commandments of God merely about observing some set of rules? Of course not. God's commandments are much more than obeying the do's and don'ts of his laws. God's intent is for his people to have knowledge of his purpose for creating them, for relationship. God didn't create man to impose himself on man, not to becoming a dictator, neither to limit man. It is of necessity that God be man's guide, which without it becomes impossible for man to attain his full potential and God's purpose for his life. The objective of the law is to prove man's loyalty to God rather than to convict man of sin. This is evident by the responsibility God committed to man. For clarity, it isn't enough for man to do as God has commanded. No. The state of a man's heart while discharging his duty is what God rewards. It is very important I state this in case you missed it. God didn't punish Adam just because Adam disobeyed God's command, but because Adam acted with impunity, with the motive of becoming like God. Adam was covetous, but it was too late before he realized he's being deceived into making the sorriest mistake of his life. Genesis chapter 3, verse 5 to 6. What Adam thought would be of protection to him exposed him. What he looked up to for wisdom left him looking foolish. When you substitute the invisible for the visible, you unknowingly terminate your God-given mandate. Adam thought eating the forbidden fruit will make him be like God, not knowing he was already made God-like. Adam looked up to the forbidden fruit for power, quickly forgetting he was empowered from the very beginning. Your dependence on anything else other than God will deprive you of God's original plans for your life. In other words, whatsoever help that does not come from God cannot fulfill the plans of God for your life. King David and his men ate the sacred bread, which was unlawful for them to eat, yet God justifies David's action because his motives were right. In 2 Chronicles 30, 18 to 20, it was recorded many Israelites participated in the Passover without being cleared to do so, contrary to the law. Yet King Hezekiah interceded for the people whose hearts are true to God, and God answers the prayers of Hezekiah. Whilst God may have pardoned the errors of these offenders, he did not permit them to go on breaking his laws. Neither was it recorded that the offenders repeated same offenses. It is not permissible for you to take the grace of God for granted. You will be made to pay for it some way and somehow. Even Christ states in the book of Matthew chapter 7 from verse 21 to 23, not everyone who calls out to me, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of heaven. Only those who actually do the will of my Father will enter. On judgment day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, we prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and performed miracles in your name. But I will reply, I never knew you. Get away from me, you who break God's laws. Similarly, observing God's laws without having knowledge of his intent may regrettably prove to be a service in futility. Take a clue from the story of the rich young ruler in the book of Matthew 19 from verse 16 to 22. It isn't enough for you to rise up to your God's-given responsibility. Doing so with the right approach and understanding and being guided by God's commandment will set you apart. My name is Oye Abraham, and this is Reasoning Together. Till I come your way again, stay safe, stay focused, and God bless you.